Hi, Chris here. So now I've completed an orbit. Next target is to do a flyby of the moon. So to do this we're going to need quite a lot of new technology. Unfortunately the way to do this is to get lots of farming done. So we need to farm some technology, farm some money, upgrade our base and unlock the new technologies we need for a probe. Because we're going to do a flyby and we're not going to bother with the fuel and stuff that we need to do a return. Obviously we could use a Kerbal, so we send a Kerbal off and never expect him to return, but that's a bit harsh, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to get the new technology that we're going to need to send a probe. Now this probe's going to probably have its batteries run out because we're not going to have technology to unlock solar panels. So we're just going to be using batteries. That'll be enough power to get into orbit. Also enough power to set course for the moon. But it will literally only be doing a flyby. Fortunately, the only quest we have to do is a flyby. And that's going to give us lots of money and lots of science and stuff. So I've just unlocked a couple of upgrades. So I can now get more of these contracts. I'm just going to get some very simple ones, the easiest ones I can get. And I'm going to complete them nice and quickly. So we've got one to use these back boosters. And I only have to use this landed on Kerbal. So that's literally to sit on the launch pad, press the spacebar, and I've completed the contract. Obviously I'd want to return live with my Kerbal Naught. But it's not necessary really. I'm also using a couple of tourist quests here. So I'm going to add 3 extra command pods. Now I know that the parachutes aren't enough to carry the RT-10 back. So I'm going to add a couple of extra ones. Just move around the staging order. Yeah, so the top parachutes aren't enough. Fortunately, we've now unlocked radial parachutes. So I can just slap these on the side and it'll be enough that I can slow down even though I've got the heavier payload. While I'm doing this, I'm going to use a couple of new science payloads I've unlocked. So I'm just going to get high altitude and a space reading for those. I could use a cargo bay, but I don't think I've really got any technology that needs it. And I've got all the science for space and high altitude and stuff. So let's put these on. Okay, so I've got 3 extra parachutes, plus the 3 main ones. And that should be plenty to slow down my final stage. Just correct the staging. This is quite a common problem. The staging quite often just messes up, doesn't it? Alright, I'm going to remove those side parachutes. I don't need them because the central one doesn't have an RT-10 and those science modules are much lighter than the RT-10s. Oh, okay, let's revert that. So there's a minor staging problem there. Okay, so I'm going to use the top stage just to help me take off. I'm not too worried about efficiency here. The back solid fuel boosters I'm using, they have tons of thrust. I'm only trying to get into space. I'm not trying to do anything complicated. So up we go. We've got lots and lots of speed. We can see the air pillowing off our spaceship. We've not got any overheating yet, but we're probably going to get a little bit. Nice and fast. Definitely going to make space. Okay, so we can't use most of these. Let's try to find the one with the Kerbal in it. That one. It's always the last one. Yep. So I thought I hadn't got that reading. Right, so while I'm doing farming for cash and contracts, this is going to give me reputation as well. And reputation helps you get more advanced contracts. So obviously at the moment I can't get the flyby of the moon. So by doing contracts I can get the flyby of the moon contract. Also I'm picking up lots of sites, which is always useful. We're going back down now. Hitting the atmosphere. Speed this up. Right, so making sure I'm completing as many quests as possible. It's a nice simple one. So you see that you've got the ticks that tell you that you've met the criteria to activate the quest. Right, well I've missed one of them there, but it's not too much of a problem. I'll be able to do it next time. So I'm heating. I've just flipped upside down. Don't flip upside down, it's not good. Oh, there we go. So you see lots and lots of contracts completing. Yeah, there's no real way of getting around this farming stage. Obviously if you're a new player, then this is a great opportunity to really master some basic skills. You can get quests to, get Kerbals out of orbit, putting satellites into orbit, that kind of thing. Nice and simple stuff. Right, looks like they're all going to come alive. So that's our second set of space tourists successfully returning. Yeah, tons of science, which is always good. Science is why we are here. So that will unlock another one on our tech tree. We then got very simple testbed ones like this. The good thing about you should always keep an eye out for contracts that say do the tests. Oh, don't do like that. Do tests at Kerbin, because you can just do it at Launchpad and hopefully it won't blow up and mess up like I just did. Right, so I'm just going to set thrust to 0, then activate, and that will complete the quest for me. So I just wanted these two side engines to be tested. Obviously I activated one by right clicking on it. You can do that and click run test, but if you've got thrust, then obviously you'll get thrust on one side of the spaceship and flip round. Now just bobbing up and down here. The reason I'm doing that is to get the in-flight readings. So I've done readings on the ground, and then by hopping up like that I can do a second set of readings while I'm just off Kerbin. So that's in flight. There we go, and that gives us lots of science. So we get tons of science with virtually 0 effort. Another one is the rolling around the Kerbal Space Center trick. And this is going to give a momentous amount of science. So we're doing all the readings here. We've got crew report on runway, we've got science reports, and obviously the goo. And then, because we've got this in a nice rollable shape, we can just roll off the runway and get readings in a different part of the Space Center. The Space Center's got lots of little places. Now early on it's quite difficult to get to them because you haven't got a rover or anything. But you can still roll like this, and that's quite a nice way. You see the line there, the texture difference. That's the gap between the runway and a different part of the Space Center. So there's lots of these around this little patch. So you can get, if you really go full on, you can get a few hundred science just running around the Space Center. Just it's a very solid amount, especially early on. Just roll very slowly. Obviously you're going to get almost all the money back from this, so it would be worth adding a second command module if you want, just to give yourself extra rotation, do it a bit quicker. There we go, and we get the sights, and that should be enough that I am able to do a flyby with a probe of the moon. There we go, loads of science again, and that's juicy science.